Russ, I get the sense that you're going to be frustrated with that one, and it feels like it's a similar story as we've seen so many times this season.
Yeah, it's a conversation we've had too many times, Toby. It's I'm very hurt by the first half. I've told the players that because we didn't start well. It's happened too many times. We've spoke about it. We've worked on different stuff. The things we spoke about before the game that would be really important, I didn't see at all. I didn't see, which is not like us, and that's why it's hurt me a little bit because we didn't respond well to conceding. We usually have done, so we've scored really quickly when we've conceded a lot of the time, but we just didn't respond well. We got worse after they scored, which is not like us at all. The mentality wasn't right. It didn't feel right. Took us way too long to work out how to adapt to the game and how they'd set up. And it's tough because we watch teams every single game. They haven't set up like that at all against anyone really. They've sat off but they've sniffed blood with us at the moment early on. Teams do, and that's it's like they put all their energy into that first 15-20 minutes to try and get something, and unfortunately we just aren't being able to cope with that. So it's hurtful. It's really hurting us as a group. And what I would say is the second half they were outstanding and they showed so much character, unbelievable response. When we scored, we had a funny 5 minutes after that, again because Burton completely changed their approach because they had nothing to hang on to. So we have to adapt better to scenarios in games, but what we have to do better is not concede first. I don't know how many times we've said that. It just changes everything, and we didn't adapt well enough to that change today. So the second half we played without ego, we played with real intensity, we played with aggression. The players had responsibility, they knew their role, they played together, they played for each other. Everything we didn't do in the first half, they done in the second half. So, the balance is difficult for me because I'm hurt by the first half, and then I'm immensely proud of them for the second half, for the way they come back. And the supporters gave them a lot of energy in the second half. I really enjoyed that. That was good. That was nice to have back. And I thought once we scored, we would go on to win the game. And we looked really dangerous in the second half. So I have to take them positives and make sure they roll into Tuesday. But we also have to make sure that we don't have a repeat of that in the first half because it's really hurting us as a group, and that's why we're in the position we're in when perhaps we feel frustrated that we are because most of the performances have been better than 17th or 18th in the league or wherever we are now. So that's why we're there. We're hurting ourselves. It has to stop. But also, they show immense character to come back the way they have.
We often see teams coming and parking the bus at the end of games. Do you sometimes feel like you need to do that in the first 15 minutes just to stop all of that sort of nonsense going on at the back?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's every goal we concede is different. Every game we've started games brilliantly and then concede out of nowhere. Today it's a set piece. The second phase. I don't know. The problem is if you start that way and then you can't. It's really difficult to gain control in a game when you've given up what you're doing. But we have worked on a few different ways to start a game, and we didn't see any of them today. So it's frustrating. We need to find a way without going away from what we want to be or who we are. But we need to find a way to stop it because it's getting ridiculous, really.
It might not have been specifically the introduction of Daniel Harvey at half-time that changed things up, but he made a real impact when he came on, didn't he? Yeah,
I thought he'd done really well, Danny. I was really pleased with him. He looked really positive, got some great deliveries in the box. I thought George on the other side was outstanding. Really, really good. Really pleased with him today. Top performance. There was some really great performance. Warren O'Hara again. Kesey, especially in the second half, was some of the blocks he made and the way he kept the ball moving and dealt with Akins in the second half was really good. So to a man second half they were great, but we just had too many off it in the first half. But Danny did really well. I was really pleased. Lass had a really good impact when he come on as well. They have to keep doing that. These guys, they had a chance on Tuesday. They took it, they come on today and done well again.
We mentioned it yesterday, didn't we? The game at the Pirelli Stadium last season, when I think that was the first time that your side had dominated a game but come out second best. I think we almost saw that here again today, so especially in that second half. And I suppose it shows how fast your side has come since that day, in that you were able to get the equaliser this time around and then potentially go on and you had chances towards the end there to nick a second.
Yeah, we've evolved really quickly. It's the team has taken shape and gone into a direction that I didn't think we'd see for a bit longer. but unfortunately we're unable to sort of keep up with it at the moment. So it's but what I would say is we look a real threat. You're right. I think if we go 1-0 down last season, we're done and dusted. I think that's different now. But it happens too often. It happens way too often. That's the biggest difference at the moment. So we have to find a way to work that out. And if we do, the only way is up for this team. There's no doubt about it. And you can see that in the way that the performances second half. That has generally been every game like that, in the second half. And that's definitely been how the game is when we've gone 1-0 up. So we have to do that more. Unfortunately, we're giving teams too much of a chance early on at the minute, and it needs to stop if we're going to really progress.
Of course, as disappointed as you are with that first half, you had a number of chances. Cameron Jerome had 3 or 4 in that first half. George Williams saw one go wide as well. So the problem didn't feel like it was at that end of the pitch at all.
No, we created 2 fantastic chances in the first half that we should score. You expect Cameron to score, and I'm sure he will hold his hands up for that as well. And it was when we stuck to the really simple things that we spoke about and we worked on. We actually showed them that on the TV at half time on our screen about how easy, when they got there, about how easy it was to create a chance. But we just didn't get there well enough. We didn't feel the game well enough. There was too many times at the back we let them trap us. There was too many times we weren't aggressive enough and hurt. And if you look at the game against Norwich, everyone will talk about some of the football and all that stuff. But for the first 15 minutes at Norwich, all we did was playing behind them. That's all we did. Earned territory, showed our teeth really early against a team who played really high. Burton played pretty much the same as Norwich in terms of formation, high line. We didn't do it once. We did not do it once. We didn't earn any respect or territory early on, and that's what's cost us. But when we did get there, which took us 24 minutes to work out how to, when we did get there after that, we looked like scoring. We really did, and that was the message at half time. You're going to get chances to score. You're going to have to be patient, but we also have to be much more aggressive. We have to get them running towards their own goal more than we did, and we did that really well in the second half. So there's lots of positives to take, but I find it really hard at the moment the counterbalance between that and the disappointment of the first half is really difficult for me. But when I watch it back again, which I'll watch again in a minute, and then and tomorrow I'm sure, by the time we get to Monday, the players will know the reasons why the first half wasn't as good as it should have been, and they'll also know the reasons why the second half is. And I'm pretty confident what I'll see is the fact that the intensity was so much greater in the second half, and it's a real big part of what we do and how we go about things, and that was miles better in the second half.
He's certainly unflappable from 12 yards, isn't he, Scott Fraser?
Yeah, I thought he was really good in the second half. He's obviously he had a player really tight to him every single time he received the ball, because they played with him, a lot of these guys, and the manager played with him, so they know the threat. So it was going to be a difficult game in terms of finding space and really hurt teams. But when it mattered, he has so much quality. And the other side of the game, he did brilliantly in the second half. So you always fancy him from the penalty spot. And I was just pleased that he got the goal.
I think Carlton put in a real shift as well. He was. It felt like he was. Well, he's hit that purple patch again, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been outstanding. He's just, at times he looks like he's carrying the team. When he protects the ball, he drives at the pitch. He's a top performer for this level, and it's been frustrating for him this season. It's been a bit up and down, but when he really plays, he's outstanding. You can see that, and he does so much work for the team, which is probably why he doesn't get as many goals as he would like or he should. But yeah, he's been great for us, and Cammy was really good as well, and we've got 2 really, really strong options, which is why you're reluctant to make a sub, because them 2 carry such a threat in that area of the pitch. I always felt like there was a goal coming, but towards the end Cammy got a bit tired, and obviously Steve in the box 1v1 makes a big difference. So that was the thought process behind that, and we just didn't quite get an opportunity to get Steve on it in those areas.
Cheers, Russ. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, Tobe. Thank you.
Russ, couple of shaky moments defensively, but Andrew Fisher coming out and making some really crucial saves. How impressed have you been with him, especially considering this is his real first opportunity as a starting goal?
Yeah, he's been great. Really, really pleased with Fish. He's a very good young goalkeeper who will get better and grow with us. Him and Lee and Laurie gives us real strength in that department, and he's been great, Fish. And I think that our goalies on the whole haven't had a huge amount to do, so when they really needed once or twice a game, a few too many times a day, for my liking, and we gave them too many shots and too many chances, probably more than we have done on most occasions. But when called upon, he made some really good saves, and he's really confident, he's really calm, and he'll get better and better. I think it's his 10th league game or whatever it is. So with these guys, with a lot of them, David the same, these Danny Harvey coming from a different level, Lass's first loan, Warren's first loan, who's been outstanding. With these guys, you have to accept that there's going to be ups and downs, but at the same time they've been really good, and they'll keep getting better and better. And he's a really good example of that.
And I'm sure you will have wanted to wait a bit longer, but 3 weeks to go until the next transfer window is set to open. Is your mind focused on that at all? Yeah,
we've had numerous meetings about it, trying to make sure we identify what we need, trying to get as much work done early as possible. So yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into that. We don't just get to January and cross our fingers and hope. So we know what we want, we know what we need. I think we probably 2 or 3 players could really help us. Whether we're able to get them in January or not, I don't know. But we've certainly identified people. So I expect us to make some additions. I don't know how many, but I know what positions that we want them in and where we need them. And hopefully, we get it done and get it done early. But we'll have to wait and see. It's a tough window, January. So especially after everything that's gone on. So yeah, we'll just keep working towards that and keep making sure we're prepared for everything.
Cheers, Ross.
Cheers, James.
Hello. Was it good on George Williams' steps back to recovery that he was able to do the full 90 today after playing in midweek?
Yeah, I thought he was brilliant. Asked him at 75 minutes how he was feeling, and he said he was feeling good. So he's had a 90 minutes at Barnet as well. So he's had a 60 against. So he's more than ready, and I thought he was really good today. I was really pleased with George. So he'll be fine. He needs to recover well. We'll have to see if he's going to be available for us on Tuesday, because obviously we have to manage him. He's been out for a while, but really pleased with George today.
It felt like Burton became much more deeper as the second half progressed. Is it just one of those ones where you guys have to be a bit more intense in trying to break that kind of block down?
Yeah, I thought we did that really well. I thought we played around them, got good crosses in. When the time was right, we cut through. Just was that last little bit, we're waiting on, and but I think they're so deep because of the intensity we played at. When they cleared the ball, we recycled it really quickly, and they just couldn't get out of their final third. And that's how a lot of games have been. But unfortunately, they're defending a goal, so it makes it really tough for us. But I just thought we looked like we were going to create. We looked dominant, and as the game goes on, the more chance you have, because they get tired mentally and physically, and you're going to have a chance. And Scotty took it with a penalty, but we had a few after that as well.
Is David Casimo okay? He was on the end of a pretty rough tackle just before the goal.
Yeah, there was a couple of really bad ones, but some that were left alone completely. But yeah, he's fine. Dave was below the standard he set in the first half, but in the second half I thought he was immense. Really top performance. So the gap between our best performance and our worst one at the moment is too big. Because when we're at our best, we can be really outstanding. There's no doubt about that. But we have too many moments, or we can see too many goals to allow us to get to that level. So we know what we need to do, and we'll make sure we're ready for Tuesday and got another home game to make sure we bounce back quickly.
Just picking up on that note about the gap between the worst and the best being a bit excessive, was this almost a bit like Shrewsbury, where the first half was a bit more on the weaker side, but the second was much more stronger?
Yeah, because we conceded early again at Shrewsbury, so I think that was 30 seconds. So it's making it harder for ourselves. When a game is 0-0, the longer it goes on, you look at Barnet where we score late and all that stuff, it's just consistent, it's big responsibility from the players, big intensity, a lot of control, and you grind teams down eventually. When they go 1-0, I've said to you so many times, it changes the game completely. Everything we work on then becomes difficult. And today we made it harder than we should have after that. There's no doubt about it. That's probably the first time we really haven't, Shrewsbury in this one, we really haven't responded very well to conceding. Whereas, most of the time we have done, but we've just done it too much. We're making it really hard for ourselves. We're hurting ourselves, so it has to stop.
Burton arrived here towards the bottom of the table. Is the challenge still going to be the same for Peterborough, which, even though they're higher up the case, still imposing the style on the opponent?
Yeah, I don't think it's imposing the style. I think it's just playing the game we want to play and making sure we play. We turn it into a game that suits us more than them, finding the solution to the problem. So we've already watched Peterborough lots. We will prepare for them. They have a lot of strength, obviously. They're towards the top end of the league. But we know that on our day we can be a match for anyone, but we have to start from the very basics and the foundations of any team, which is intensity, energy, fully committed to what we're wanting to do, and we just didn't see enough of that in the first half. In the second half, brilliant. So hopefully we can carry that second half forward into Tuesday, avoid the traps we are falling into at the moment, and if we do, it'll be a right good game. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm looking forward to Tuesday. If we win on Tuesday, it's a really good week. If we don't, then we need to make sure we learn really quickly. But I'm really positive we can look forward to Tuesday with a better performance in the first half and carry on from today's second half.